They discovered that I had a pilocystic astrocytoma, and it was a brain tumor which was located under my C1 and C2 and right under my brainstem. And it was 11 centimeters long. And upon the diagnosis, my brain tumor was also deemed inoperable. My name is Ashley Masocha, and I am the founder and CEO of Peekaboo VPN. So, despite the normal trope from Zimbabwe, in my childhood I kind of was a spoiled brat, and I'll admit it. And as a result, I never really had that opportunity to kind of learn responsibilities, because everything was just done for me. So I actually first arrived in Melbourne in 2008. Melbourne had that eccentric feeling that I wanted, that ability to kind of express myself. That's when I made the decision to come to Melbourne for study. It wasn't too much of a culture shock, but I think the biggest difference was that for the first time in my life, I was being given responsibilities, because my childhood, everything was done for me. That whole journey coming from one end of the spectrum to the other was kind of the number one reason why I just kind of felt like, this was quite a big difference, coming to Melbourne. But during that journey, there was a slight disruption. On one normal day in 2013, I felt some pain in my knee. And it wasn't just any normal kind of pain, it was quite sharp. Things kind of went a bit down south from that point onwards. I started to feel a lot more fatigue. And inevitably, fatigue turned into ataxia, which is the inability to walk straight. My muscles really began to become weak. I was finding it difficult to even open a jar. And at that point, I kind of realized, okay, something's wrong. But then there's a slight problem. My health insurance started in June 2013, and the waiting period is 12 months. If I am admitted into hospital, and for some strange reason they detect something serious, I'm facing thousands in bills. So upon realization that this is not a viable option, I just made the conscious decision to just accept what I'm going through and ultimately suffer in silence until the end of the waiting period, because I didn't want to be in uni and in debt. And I did. I waited. I suffered. I didn't tell Tari. I didn't tell Tamu. I didn't tell Mom. I didn't tell Dad, because I just felt like it was gonna go away. But then I realized I'm just procrastinating and delaying the inevitable, because I knew something's wrong. I got a CT scan. And on that same day, I went back to work, and around 5 p.m., I received a call from a GP. And she said to me, Ashley, your doctor would like to see you. And I asked the receptionist, is it possible I could see him tomorrow? She said, no. He said he's willing to wait after hours. And at that very moment, my heart sank, because I knew the jig is up. I'm definitely sick. So reluctantly, I left work and I went to the GP to see him. And he delivered the most devastating news I've ever received. They discovered that I had a pilocystic astrocytoma, and it was a brain tumor which was located under my C1 and C2 and right under my brainstem. And it was 11 centimeters long. And upon the diagnosis, my brain tumor was also deemed inoperable. I was frozen, numb, broken, agitated, sad. I just can't think of a word that in the dictionary that can't describe how I felt that day.
That's it. Where are you?
Royal Melbourne Hospital.
Okay, so not rehab, right?
No, not yet, no.
Okay. Why do you always look serious when you're in the... Why? You weren't serious a second ago.
Because I'm telling you that I'm very serious.
Don't be an idiot.
Upon the diagnosis of my illness, Mom and Dad were playing visa tag team, where Mom would stay for a while, and then once Mom's visa expired, Dad would come over. And that's what they did. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The surgeon advised me that we are going to start off with some chemotherapy, and we are going to pair you up with an oncologist. Inevitably, that's when I finally met him. He made me feel as if it was my fault falling sick. We started off with carboplatin, which was the generic chemotherapy, which normally resolves most tumors or cancers. And we started off on 2 weeks, and after the second week, he came back. And he said to me, quote, "Ashley, we discovered it's not working. It's not working. It's not working." The surgeon at the time decided that, okay, we're gonna try a different route. And that's when we decided to go for radiation chemotherapy. So for 5 consecutive months, I was in hospital. My birthday was on the 11th of December. And it wasn't just any birthday. It was my 21st birthday. They were so kind to me, and they actually threw a secret party where they had little cupcakes and they had a small gathering, and they gave me all this food and wished me happy birthday. It was just amazing. Things actually started to get a lot better. My brain tumor actually shrunk from 11 centimeters all the way down to 6. So 5 centimeters were shaved off. And I was actually quite happy. And the results were actually showing. Like, I was standing, I was walking, and I was actually able to do certain things like, go to the cafe, clean myself, shower. So I kind of said to myself, despite the fact that I had a brain tumor and I had pain, I consciously made the decision that I had to go back to uni. I was going to graduate, I was going to finish that year, no matter what. I told myself, I would rather die knowing I tried. I passed my exams, surprisingly. And then towards the second semester, my deterioration began to resurface. That's when I had another appointment with him. And this was an eye-opening appointment. And he said to me, "Ashley, the scans came back. Your brain tumor is growing. The chemo's not working. The radiation, we can't do it again. We can't do another surgery. Ashley, we've officially run out of options. We can't help you anymore. And Ashley, I just want you to know that you are a dead man walking. So I strongly advise you to cancel your course, cancel your visa, and go back where you came from. Because you're not going to make it past your 23rd birthday." And that's what he said to me on the day of palliative care. And I retaliated to him. I said, "I'm going to survive this." He laughed. And he says, "I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it." And then I left his office, and inevitably, I stopped going to rehab because I wasn't doing well. And I got a delivery of a hospital bed because I was officially placed in end-of-life care. And things got worse again. And this time, to a point where my family kind of began to entertain the inevitable. The funeral arrangements were also being done. Mom was finding it difficult to eat, sleep. She no longer had joy on her face. She just didn't know what to do. But Dad, on the other hand, he wasn't giving up. So Dad, again, decided to throw another Hail Mary, and he decided to call each and every single doctor he could think of. He just went on Google, searched anyone, brain surgeons in Melbourne, and surprisingly, he actually got a response from 4. And the first one said, nope. Second one, nope. The third one, oh, actually, we can't remove it, but we can extend your life. And I said to Dad, I'm not going down that route. It's not a solution. So, no. And then we met a 4th guy, and his name was Mr. Tiu Han. And he said to me, you know, Ashley, I've had a look at your scans, and I'm quite confident enough to say that I believe I can actually remove it. I just looked at Dad for a moment. I was like, Dad, clearly he's after the insurance money. You know this, Dad, he's after the NIB insurance money. And then Dad responded and said, well, son, even if he is trying to make some money off you, do you have a choice? And I said, no, I don't. So I went into surgery. And it lasted until, for a good 10 hours, I don't know, 10, 11 hours, I lost count. And then towards the end of the surgery, the surgery was done, sorry. Everything was done. He spoke to my family. He was like, Ash is awake, he's up. And everyone was celebrating, everyone was happy. Oh, he's alive. Mr. Han told everyone that he removed the brain tumor. Everyone was happy except for me, because I could not feel anything from my neck and downwards. And I just didn't know what to do, because I just didn't know how to express to everyone, because everyone was smiling, was happy, dancing, but I just didn't want to break to them at that point. So I just let it slide for a few days, and I just waited to see how I was managing. And Mr. Han, every day, he would come back, touch my legs. Ashley, can you feel this? Can you feel this? No. Can you feel this? Nope. Nope. Nothing. And he did that for 5 consecutive days. But on the 6th day, in the morning, I could feel my arms. I could feel my legs, my toes. Everything just came back. And that level of elation just increased and came back to me, because I realized, geez, I can feel again. The hospital then decided that, okay, Ashley, we can see you're doing well, and we've decided that we are gonna discharge you. This was probably a different time for me this time around, because now my brain tumor was out. So I could reclaim what was lost, reclaim my life back, and I can get back to the place I was before. I made the decision to go back to uni again, and I graduated on the 11th of December 2019, which was on my birthday. Even though I've been traumatized, I've been broken, I'm finally in a position where I can safely say, things are better. So it's a combination, it's a dance. It's a balancing act, you know. From one spectrum, I'm sad. the other spectrum, I'm happy. But if I'm able to bring them together, I'm at peace. And I am at peace.